Shalom, shalom. Your success is closer than you think. Your success is closer than you realize. But this is the most important thing you must understand. Man, I'm not here tonight to doubt you, to put doubt, in your mind, but I'm here to open your eyes about what it's going to take. And honestly, your success is within arm's reach. But without what I'm talking about tonight, man, you'll never find it. You'll never reach it. And I hope that you do find the success that you want in your life. Everybody sees success completely different. As a commandment keeper, man, I see success as continuously, getting in the word and learning how I must go about working out my salvation. Continuing to study to show myself approved in order that the Most High Yah might be pleased with me at Judgment Day and say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." Some people see success as having a 392, a scat pack. Some people see success as having a Bugatti. Some people see success as having $1 million in the bank. Man, tonight, I'm here today to tell you that a lot of these things that you want out of life will never come possible until you understand this most important thing. Oftentimes people get mad when people doubt them. People say things like, man, in 2025, man, I'm going to lose 40 pounds. You're wondering why January, February, March comes around, your family is laughing at you. It's not that they don't want to believe in you. It's the simple fact that you're not willing to do one thing. Saying, man, on social media, people have these little quad charts that they post. Man, in 2025, I'm going to have the husband or wife of my dreams. I'm going to have this mansion. I'm going to have these picture perfect children. I'm going to have all of this money in the bank. A lot of people see success as that and they chase it. And you know what? Man, when they have their funeral, somebody's going to pay a preacher to get up there and speak smooth things, to prophesy deceit, to get up there and put all of this sugar on the word and give a lukewarm message to where people feel like a person who refused to do the work is going to make it to the kingdom. So tonight I'm talking about James chapter 2, verses 17. Even so, faith, if it have not works, is dead, being alone. So I'm coming from a commandment keeping perspective. Man, there's a lot of people that say that they have faith. And I don't doubt that they don't have it. But in the book of John, it says, they that say they know him and keep not his commandments is a lie. That's showing you that you believe in him, you may have faith in him, but you have refused to do the work. When you hear On that day, many people will say, Lord, Lord, look what we've done. Look who we've saved. Look at these things that we have performed. And he says, part ways, I never knew you. Your problem in that moment is you did the wrong works. You did the comfortable works. You did the works that was pleasing to everybody else, and they cheered you on in the congregation while you kept on living lawless. Man, there is, when you think about the end time judgments, when you're reading in Revelation and the Most High Yah is issuing judgment, and you read that these people chose to repent not, man, it's because they failed to do the work. They failed to do the work. The book is filled with the work. The book does not say to be speakers of the word. It says be doers of the word. That requires work. Man, we live in a daytime and hour where people are expecting all of this instant success, and they never find the success that they want in life. Right now, there is a pill out there called Ozempic. And if you look at some of the side effects that it's having, man, it is paralyzing people's stomach to where your stomach, the nerves in there and the muscles, it doesn't properly digest the food the way it's supposed to. So every time you eat something, man, you throw it up. What would cause somebody to want a magic pill that was rebranded and renamed and had the original purpose of treating diabetes, and doctors out there are telling you, hey, you probably shouldn't take this because it has some extreme side effects, but looking for that instant success, here you are with your stomach paralyzed. You can't even hold down water. How does someone find themselves in that boat? They refuse to do the work. Man, when we see shows like My 600-Pound Life and Dr. Navarian is telling them, hey, if you don't do X, Y, and Z and lose 15, 20 pounds, you're probably going to die. When he tells somebody, man, I cannot even give you this surgery to help you, it's not because he's being mean. It's because these people have failed to do the work. Sitting back and eating themselves, to death is easier. Some people choose to hate on successful people. Some people choose to hate on commandment keepers. Some people choose to hate on those that have the anointing because they don't want to do the work to have the same things themselves. Rather than humbling yourselves, rather than, letting your pride go, removing your ego, and saying, hey, can you show me just a little bit of the work that I see you doing? Right now, I don't even understand it, but can you show me a piece of it? Your success is right around the corner. Man, as men, man, one thing we must understand is the works. Man, we are in a daytime and hour, and it's gonna get worse where men want to work out, their sexual organs, but they don't understand the work behind that. That responsibility requires work. Being a provider requires work. The word says, those that do not provide for their family, especially those of their own household, is worse than an infidel and have denied the faith. What makes a worthless man? A man that refuses to do the work. You got some men looking for an excuse not to do the work. Man, my marriage went bad. I got my heart broke. So you use that as an excuse not to spend time with your children, to raise your children. That's what makes you worthless, because you refuse to do the work. You sit up and tell yourself, man, things are going to get better. That's nothing but fair speech without the work. You know, people are praying for good men and good women. God, please send me somebody good. I'm so tired of this. But guess what you're not tired of doing? You're not tired of Netflix and chilling. You're not tired of picking up that phone call at 2 a.m. and being somebody's booty call. That book outlines a specific work that we must be doing. I'm telling you, men and women, if you have somebody that you love in action. See, love in action requires work. The Most High Yah says, if you love me, keep my commandments. Men, women, if you have a good man, in order to keep that good man, it's going to require work. You got everybody and their mama out there saying, I want a successful relationship. You got everybody out there that says, man, I want to make it to the kingdom. I want to make it to heaven. What's going to cause you not to see the kingdom? Your refusal to do the works. What does that refusal of doing the works look like? You gravitate to every brand or religion that doesn't require you to do work, but people cheer you on. You want, as a woman, you want the most righteous man, the most rarest man walking around on this earth. But you know what you won't do? The work. As a man, you want the most virtuous, prudent, modest, and meek woman out there. The book says she's reserved for the man that fears Yah. You know why that isn't you, possibly? Because you don't want to do the work. Oftentimes, we find ourselves doing the wrong works. Man, people say, man, keeping the law is too hard, but they can't tell you what part of keeping the law is too hard. But they will spend hours hanging up Christmas lights to keep holidays. Man, you'll spend hours of your life putting Easter eggs all throughout the yard, dressing up in a costume, sweating bullets. Spend hours throughout the course of 18 years of taking your children trick-or-treating, and you wonder why your kids are not successful in righteousness. Why? Because as an adult, as a parent, as a mother or father, you didn't do the work. You wonder why your children are grown and failing miserably at marriage and relationship. You sitting there 50 years old trying to read them a passage out of the book that you heard in church, but you know what you didn't do? Bring them up in righteousness. You didn't do the work to be that example. Man, I'm here today to tell you that you can go from being a person whose life is given to sin to being righteous tomorrow. It's that easy. It's in arm's reach. But the only way you're going to get there is with the works. A lot of people are stuck at, man, I'm going to do better. Man, I know I should do better. Man, next year is going to be way better. When next year comes, you know what it's void of? The work. It's void of the work. Most people want to do a little bit of work that's not the work that we should be doing and want to be applauded for it. You want to be applauded for doing idolatrous work. Ain't nobody clapping in the kingdom for that. Most High Yah is not blessing in abundance for that. You got people that are blessed beyond belief and don't realize the reason that they don't have the success that they want out of life is because they're not willing to help others. They're too selfish. And they don't want to do the work to be selfless. Most High Yah has blessed you in abundance over and over again, but you got your doggone fist clenched when it's time to help others out that are in need. I'm telling you, your success is right around the corner. Man, there's things that when I was younger, I used to be like, man, I want a big old house, a big old mansion, 8-bedroom. I don't even want that stuff. You know why? Because when my children leave home, man, that is a lot of work to maintain. You have people in this daytime and hour that will go out and get an adjustable rate mortgage and wonder why 6 months later they're facing foreclosure. Why? Because they didn't understand the work. You're not going to get an adjustable rate mortgage and live your best life. Not when the fine print that you should be understanding will cause your mortgage to go up $2,000 from month to month. Man, you got somebody, closing their eyes tonight, praying for a Mercedes. Oh, I want a Mercedes. Bless me with this. It's not that he don't want to bless you. It's just you don't understand the work that's required in having these nice things. There's nothing wrong with having nice things. But sometimes, on this path you're on, the Most High Yah is humbling you to the point where he doesn't want you to have any distractions. He knows if he gave you that Mercedes tomorrow, you might stop keeping the commandments because you want to be spinning the block in front of the mall on the Sabbath. If you go out there and your check engine light has been on for 4 months in your Honda Civic and you can't even figure out the maintenance that's required to maintain that, what makes you think you understand the works of something that requires high maintenance? I tell you, man, this past summer, I didn't understand the works when it came to, man, I had over 50, 60 plants in my garden. 50, 60 plants in the garden. Man, that rainwater would hit it and this stuff would just bloom all out the process. I didn't understand the fact that, oh man, I might have to go out there every 3-4 days and do some pruning. I ended up losing a couple plants because I wasn't attentive to having foresight throughout my garden, and the rabbits took over. This stuff requires work. A lot of people get themselves into, they go out and seek stuff the wrong way, get themselves into tribulation. People go out and buy a house and don't realize how expensive it is. On a month, the bigger the house, the bigger the AC unit, the more filters you're going to have to change. Some of them filters is $10 a pop, depending on the size. I'm telling you, your success is closer than you think. The reason you may not have the success in the moment, especially in a monetary sense, is it's not that it's not possible. Sometimes if you had more money, it would be a distraction. But furthermore, look at your current financial condition. Do you even manage what you have, what the Most High Yah is giving you? That's the difference between being a poor fool and a rich fool. There's works associated with it. A lot of people don't want to do the work to budget. Having discipline requires work. You have to be willing to do the same thing over and over, contrary to how boring your flesh feels it is. Being obedient requires work. Those that love me keep my commandments. Obedience is better than sacrifice. That requires work. Being a dependable person, being a reliable man or woman requires work. It's easy to tell somebody, hey, if you ever need something, just call me. And when that phone rings just as you about to hop in the shower, man, there's your opportunity to do the works. Hey, I'm stranded and I need a little help. Remember that time you told me if I needed anything, you could help? Man, if you could just give me a ride to X, Y, and Z, I can figure the rest out. How many times do we hit that ignore button? Ignore. Keeping your word, being accountable requires work. Everybody walking around will tell you they're respectful, they're reliable, they're accountable, they're trustworthy, they're honest. But guess what? When you fail to do the work, you're none of those things. You have to work on being honest. Your flesh will conjure up a lie in a heartbeat. You don't even know why you lying about stuff. Being honest takes practice. Rebuking that flesh so it don't conjure up stuff to jump into these Me Too conversations. I'm telling you, a lot of people are in the current situation that they're in because they don't understand what I'm saying. You got a lot of people that have gotten baptized and are at the same spiritual condition that they were before they got baptized because they don't want to do the work. Only thing that changed from you getting baptized is now you just say God is good all the time. But when it comes to carrying out the work that we should be doing, you don't want to do it. When you look at the state of modern men and the reason one man cannot trust another, you know why? Because nobody is doing the work. When you see your neighbor's wife, you secretly fantasizing about your neighbor's wife, coveting after what your neighbor has, rather than doing the work to get your own. Man, we live in a daytime and hour where people, men and women, want all this success, but they're okay with being side chicks and side dudes. Where does that come from? You don't want to do the work. It's easier to say ain't nobody good, everybody's bad. It's easier to say that when you don't want to do the work. Tonight, I'm just here to remind you that your success is in arm's reach. It's closer than you think. Getting to the kingdom, maintaining your salvation is closer than you think. But the one thing you're not going to do is give lip service and expect the Most High Yah to believe you if you've never done the work. Closer to Yah Ministries, kicking it gun barrel straight.